Hello, welcome to sun-drenched Eastbourne. Today we are visiting LTC, Language Teaching Centre, and we are being welcomed by Mr. Paul Clark, its principal.
Hello Peter, nice to see you again.
Good to see you. Paul, it's an exceptional place. We've been bringing students here since 2006 and almost everybody has enjoyed it over these years. So did my daughter. She's been here 4 times and it speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So just tell me please, why are you so good?
Why are we so good? I think the most important thing is our staff.
Your staff?
We've got staff who really care, who really want to do a good job, who take a lot of pride in their work. And when you've got this, that's a good start. And everything good happens from there. We've also got quite a nice building.
Your building is amazing.
It's an amazing building.
So your students, they all have their lessons in this building, don't they?
That's
and
right.
I know that there are some there's some residence accommodation as well.
Yeah. So the girls stay in the rooms at the top here, and the boys stay in the rooms over there, and they never meet at night.
Do they meet during the day?
They meet during the day, that's all right, but at bedtime they're in separate parts of the building.
Well, excellent. That they feel very secure, I believe.
I think that's a really good thing about LTC, that we've got this big garden. Most people in Eastbourne don't even know we're here. It's quite safe and secure. It's like a campus.
Yeah, it looks
like being on a campus. I think what's quite unique is that we're also very near the town centre.
That's right.
You get lots of language schools who hire a boarding school in the summer, which is in the middle of nowhere. And it can be quite boring for the kids because they can't go to town. But here we're near the town centre, so the older kids can go there by themselves, the younger kids, we can take them shopping on Friday afternoon or something like that.
So on the one hand it looks like a secluded place, but on the other hand it's a mere stone's throw from the town centre, from all major things like the railway station, the town hall, and the famous beaches.
And Primark.
And Primark. Primark.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul, talking about teaching, which courses are offered here?
So basically we do English language courses.
English.
So for adults we do general English morning only, or general English morning and afternoon. And for juniors we do general English in the morning, English in the morning. And some of the older kids have the option of 2 afternoons a week, extra lessons, semi-intensive.
How high are the chances of being treated to fish and chips?
Now fish and chips is the one we repeat every Friday.
Every Friday.
Because that's a favourite. And when you ask students, what's your favourite English food, they always say fish and chips.
That's one of the staples of national cuisine, isn't it?
It is.
Do you serve eggs and bacon with the baked beans and sausages for breakfast?
We call it all-day English breakfast. And we usually serve it at lunchtime. At lunchtime. Rather than at breakfast time. So once a week or once every 2 weeks we'll do an all-day English breakfast.
Excellent. That's a very square meal.
Yeah, good popular stuff.
Yes, very good stuff. Paul, I understand there's a bit of history behind everything that's here, everything that goes on. So how did the whole thing start? Okay, the building is about 400 years old, and in 1834 the owner of the building married into the family of the Duke of Devonshire, the second richest family in England, very rich family. The Dukes came here and they said, oh, this is nice, let's build a town. So they built Eastbourne. So Eastbourne is quite unusual that it was planned and built rather than a town that grew organically. The Dukes used the home mainly as a home for their children. So the man who is now the Duke, when he was a child, his father and he and his mother and he lived here in this house. In 1950, the Dukes needed to save a bit of money. They were having problems with their tax bill. Oh, did they? And
they needed to save some money, so they closed the house, and 4 years later they rented it to LTC, which at that time was a college for ladies rather than for boys and girls. It was a kind of finishing school and a language school mixed together. Probably about 10 years or 15 years later, the Duke wanted to come back and live in the building and get rid of LTC, but his wife said no. camera over there, you can see the white apartments which had been built there on land sold by the dukes. And if you're a duke, you cannot possibly live where people can watch you from their apartments.
That's right.
So for that reason, the dukes will never come back and live here. That's why we're here today.
So you were lucky, weren't you?
We were lucky.
You were lucky.
Every day I look at those apartments and I say, thank you very much for keeping me in a job.
Oh, God bless them. God bless them. Yes, very interesting history. And whenever I just enter the grounds on my way, I see at least a dozen of rabbits and squirrels.
Yeah.
Has it been like this all the time?
Yeah, there's always been rabbits and squirrels. There used to be a lot more rabbits. There's not quite so many now. We have foxes in the grounds, which keep the population of rabbits under control very nicely. And we've seen deer. I've been here about 20 years and I've seen deer twice, big deer, running through the grounds.
Well, looks like not only it's a place for academic studies, but it's also a place for animals, a mini zoo, and it's an environmentally friendly place.
Very much.
So in a nutshell, it's the healthiest environment to study English and learn a lot about England.
Yeah, very much.
Paul, Clark, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Peter.
Together with us today is Dominic Barrow. He's in charge of marketing and many other activities at LTC in Eastbourne. Nice to meet you, Dominic. Nice to meet you. Dominic, what are the most exciting things for you about LTC?
Oh wow, where to start? I mean, we've got a lot going on here at LTC. It's a very vibrant place. It's very different. I think when you arrive at LTC and you come up the driveway, instantly you will recognise that we are very different from our competitors. We have lots of land, lots of greenery.
Lots of squirrels,
lots of rabbits and foxes. Yeah, but yeah, it almost feels like we're in the countryside. But then you mix that with the fact that within 10 minutes you can be in the town centre. I think we've got that factor of seaside, countryside, and the town centre all mixed into one. And I think really that stands us out from perhaps other language schools.
Yeah, pretty convenient location indeed, isn't it?
Yeah.
And your territory is just huge. It's just
huge. It's ginormous. Yeah, we've got 10 hectares of land in total, which equates to sort of 2 or 3 acres. So it's great. I mean, students really can feel very safe. We're completely sectioned off from the outside world, and they can just roam around nice and freely. And yeah, it's a great place to be.
Oh, wonderful. Dominic, and which activities are on offer at LTC? So when students come here, well, particularly children and teenagers, what are they treated to?
Yeah, so wide range really. We've got 2 different sides of our activities. I say we've got our more local activities and we've got our more further afield activities. So in terms of local activities, often they'll go to Beachy Head, Berlin Gap. They'll go on the pier, so they'll try the arcades, or they'll go for some afternoon tea on the pier. Afternoon tea, exactly, yeah. So
sacred thing.
Yeah, exactly. Very popular in Eastbourne. They'll go for some lunch, for example. We've got laser quest, we've got bowling, and a wide range of sports. So football, basketball, tennis, volleyball. So that's more our local activities. In terms of the further afield stuff, we're looking to go to Wednesday afternoons and Saturdays. Often it will be London, Brighton. They also go to Portsmouth. They also go to Hurstmonceux Castle as well, which is great. In terms of London, it will be a typical activity. For example, visiting Buckingham Palace, visiting the London Eye, different museums, wide range of museums in London. So,
sounds pretty impressive. Do you let your students swim in the sea? Do you walk them there?
Yeah. So
can they try the local sea, the local water?
Yeah. So my grandmother actually used to swim every day at 8 AM. That's how she started her day. She lived just opposite the seafront, so that's how she started her day. I think as generations have gone on, we've perhaps become a little bit more afraid of the sea. I'd say we're a little bit more comfortable. So let's start the day with a shower. But there's no reason why you can't go swimming.
Well, I have. I've already swum 5 times this summer.
Yeah, wow.
Fabulous. The water was not cold at all.
No?
Yes, sometimes it would go up as high as 21 degrees. In very warm weather, there's plenty of sunshine on the South English coast, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. It's very warm. I think June, July, August, you're okay. I wouldn't recommend it in perhaps the off season, January, February. But like you said, I'm sure
So-
July. It's nice and warm.
So it's all about summer.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, all about summer. Yeah, yeah,
Well, Dominic, thank you very much.
yeah. All the best, Peter. Thank you.
I'm speaking to Alistair Goldsworthy.
Hello, Peter.
He's in charge of academics,
Nice to see you.
academic director. Alistair, how does the whole academic process at LTC work?
I think the thing that we try to do, Peter, is to make our students realise that English is a real subject. They study it in their countries, and then when they come to us, we want to get their English active. So what we do first and foremost is to encourage their speaking, their listening, their vocabulary, their all-round skills, but just so that they see English as a real language that can be useful for them and not just a dry subject in school. That's our aim when they get over here. Now, tied up with our social activities, we tie in our classes to fit around that too. So when the children visit London or Windsor Castle, the teachers actually teach a lesson on that place. So we have academic contact, and also it's interesting for them to know where they're going and why it's important.
Oh, I see. And Alistair, what happens to students when they come here on Monday? Do they enter classes immediately?
No, that's a good question. What we do first of all is to give everybody a short exam to check their English level. We also give them safety information to know what to do if there's a fire or any emergency, and in that time we prepare them for the classroom. Once we correct their test, then students are placed in classes with a maximum of 16 people per class, according to their English level on the Common European Framework.
Common European Framework. And the test itself, how long does it last? How much time are students given?
We use a 30-minute test.
30.
It's a scale of 90 questions which become more difficult as you go along. And we find that this is probably the best way to test children quickly. The next day, on a Tuesday, I always have a meeting with the teachers and we'll check that everyone's in the right class, because we recognise sometimes that some children may be very good at grammar but they can't speak, or they're very good at speaking and not good at grammar. So it allows us that chance to make sure everybody's in the correct class.
And how often are the students checked in terms of knowledge? Are there any tests throughout the week? Do you do them every week or every fortnight?
There are tests. I mean, teachers will do it in many ways, quite often informally, where through the manner of games they'll revise vocabulary, check grammar, this kind of thing. The children also, when they're doing tasks in class, the teachers will actually be correcting things. So it gives us a regular chance of looking at what they do. In the summertime, we don't do too many formal exams because we want to get them just speaking, listening. We don't want them to be frightened of English by doing a long exam.
Right.
So we do it informally rather than formally.
Yes, in a rather friendly manner, I would say.
Indeed, that's right.
Are they given any homework?
Little bits and pieces. I mean, some of the older children, if they're staying with host families, we might ask them to go home and ask questions about English food or sports.
And have you ever assigned your students with the task of running opinion polls on the streets? Because I remember when studying English back in the middle 90s, we would sometimes be asked by our teachers to go out into the town and ask local people different questions, what they preferred, what they thought of the Queen, and many other questions.
Well, to be honest, we do that sort of thing, but I found it's much easier actually doing it on the school premises. For one thing, we know where everybody is at one time, and safety is an important factor. But it's nice for the children not just to speak to teachers, to speak to the guys in marketing, and our friend Matt is filming us at the moment from marketing. Hello, Matt.
It looks like he is.
But also, for example, our kitchen staff, our academic staff, our financial staff, office staff. The children get a broad spectrum of people that way, but it's also quite a safe way to do it, I find. So for me, that's the best way to do it.
It definitely is. So we're now in the rooms. So this room is used for lessons, isn't it? It's a typical classroom, isn't it?
That's right, that's right. This is called
Yes.
the King's Bedroom. This room is set up for an adult class. For our adults, we have 12 per class, and for our juniors, we have 16 per class. This is a very special room because you can see the beautiful ceiling. The number of the room is F11, but everybody calls this the King's Bedroom because it was a room prepared for the visit of King George II.
King's Suite.
That's right. And unfortunately, before he managed to visit Eastbourne, he died.
Alistair, the territory is just vast, it's enormous.
It's wonderful because apart from the classrooms, we have such a big garden where students can relax and enjoy their free time. Everybody's out in the bowling centre this afternoon, that's why it's quiet. But you can see behind us we have tennis courses, space for basketball, and just to our left a nice area for football. Apart from that, people can just relax and chat with their friends in the garden. It's lovely on a nice day like this.
And practice their English, of course.
Indeed they can, with students from all around the world.
True. So and up there's a golf course, isn't it?
That's right, that's a private golf course, but some of our students have asked for extra lessons, so in the past we've been able to organise that. So yes, if students have a particular interest, we're always happy to help with them. But I feel as though I'm in the countryside, but we're 10 minutes walking from the town centre.
Yes, yes.
That's perfect.
Yes, on the one hand it looks like a secluded place, but on the other hand it's just a mere stone's throw from the town centre.
That's right.
Fantastic.
If you come with me across the room, we can see a reminder of another important royal person who came here, which may be of interest to your listeners.
It's of national interest, isn't it?
Indeed.
Oh, a writing on the glass.
That's right. It's a graffiti left by a ring carved into the window. And what it says is Alex, 1892. Peter, do you know who that Alex could be?
It must have been some royalty, some of the Russian royalty.
That's right. You've got it in one. This lady actually became the Tsarina of Russia when she married Nicholas II. But when she paid a visit here, she was still a German princess from Hesse, I think, and she left her graffiti there.
So she was actually married to Nicholas II?
That's right. This was before her wedding, but she came here for a visit. But we tell the children, the students, please don't copy the princess, please don't leave your graffiti on the window.
Rumour has it that she was a bit naughty around that time.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like to comment on that, but yes, I've heard so.
Well, of course, we all know what sticky end she came to.
Indeed.
Terrible agonising death.
Indeed.
Alistair, and one more question, last but not the least. When students finish their studies and it's time to go home, what will they take home to remind them of their lessons and to prove that they have a certain knowledge of English?
Yeah, well, I think there are several things. First of all, the physical. Every student will take home a report and a certificate showing their level and giving advice for further study. They also have their work, their notebook, their file with all the notes that they've made. I think the other thing that they take home is not physical, it's that confidence they have returning to their country by using their English practically. They've seen that English is a real language. That's what they take home. They've visited places that they've only looked at in books, London, Brighton, but it's the confidence, I think, that they'll go on continuing to study English. That's the most important thing for me.
I definitely became much more confident after my first two trips to England, academic trips to study back in the middle 90s. I benefited a lot from them.
It's a very important thing to do, and just to hear English in its natural environment, when they go to shops, if they listen to TV or watch a movie, it's all English, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's all about practice.
That's right.
Not only at the lessons, but outside.
Exactly, that's it.
Yes, England is a perfect place to practice one's English, the best place on the planet, I would say.
I quite agree. Well, I'm from Wales, so I'll say Wales comes number two.
So is Wales. Alistair. Alistair Goldsworthy, thank you very much for your time.
Lovely to spend time with you.
Thank you.
Goodbye to all my friends in Russia.
Today I'm speaking to Matthew Beaumont. Good to see you, Matthew.
Nice to meet you, Peter.
Matthew, looks like Eastbourne is the sun trap of the south, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is it such a good place to come to?
Well, they actually call it the Sunshine Coast here. It's believed that we have our own microclimate, so it might be warmer here than it is over in Brighton, which is the next city over.
Right.
Which is fun. We're very proud of it. That's why we've blazed it all over the train stations. But it's a lovely place to be. It's some of the hottest weather and sunniest place you can get in all of England. In fact, from Beachy Head, which isn't far from here, you can actually see France, which is on a clear night, that is. So that's pretty cool.
And how far is France from here when you look into the distance?
do you know what, I don't know, but it's just across the channel, so it's not too far. You could see its twinkling lights off in the distance if you have a clear night to see it.
I have a couple of times.
Hey, have
Yes,
you?
something was twinkling in the distance.
Yeah, that'd be it then.
Something beckoning.
Yeah. Another thing that's great about Eastbourne is it's one of those locations that's very kind of safe and very kind of inviting. Like the locals know the school with language students. It's very the people here are very accepting. They are really keen for people to practice English with them, which is always nice. But it's also a place where you can go to all these different places outside of Eastbourne very easily. Like you've got London's only about an hour and a half away. You've got Brighton, which is 30 minutes on a train. You've got Hastings. You've got all these like little fun places that are around like the South Downs National Park and the Seven Sisters, and then you've got Beachy Head, and it's just a great location. And some people say it's quite laid back, and I think Eastbourne is, but at the same time I think it's just a good place to be. It's safe, and you can get to all these places. If you want a bit more excitement, it's so easily accessible, so there's no reason not to come to Eastbourne.
And it gets very vibrant in the summer when all the students flock here from all over the world. But by the way, Matthew, which parts of the world do you get your students mostly from?
We have a combination. Well, in the summer we have loads of Italians, which is always fun. They're always quite vibrant. In the winter months we have lots of Colombians, lots of people from South America, because that's when they have their summer holidays. And for adult students, we get lots of Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and we've got lots of little pockets of different people, so it's always a good combination here.
A nice blend.
Yeah.
And those students who come here, whether it be teenagers, children or adults, how long do they normally tend to come here?
Well, in the industry, it seems to be a bit more of a thing for coming for a few weeks now, about 2 weeks as mini stays, which still gets the what they need across. So that's quite popular at the moment. But it just depends what kind of things people want. Like we had someone here recently who's been here for 6 months.
6 months.
Which is pretty good. Definitely going to get your money's worth.
Definitely. Worth every single penny.
Yes.
We normally bring our students here for 4 weeks. So the students, they always feel the benefit after 4 weeks.
I think 4 weeks is a good amount of time, because
Yes.
2 weeks is like a bare minimum you'd want to come all the way here to like learn something for. But 4 weeks you're going to properly get into it and properly get to experience what it's like to be in Eastbourne in England.
Yes, it's a good value for money anyway.
I think so.
Talking about food, what food is normally on offer? Of course, your canteen is renowned because of the variety of food. So we've heard a lot of good words about it. So why is it so good?
Variety is the word. We have a marvellous Italian head of catering and her team is always very multicultural. We have lots of Spanish, Italian, French, Japanese sometimes, and they all kind of bring their own culture into the food, which is fantastic. And anytime you come here in the year, it's always going to be a different blend of things because people are bringing different things into it. But we have some marvellous, it doesn't matter what you need. We could do vegetarian. We could do, we could always prefer a vegan option if necessary. Gluten free. There's always something that we can do for you.
Is it true that your renowned Italian chef sometimes runs lessons in cooking, making Italian cuisine dishes?
I don't know actually.
Some kind of Italian cuisine seminar.
I would love it if she did, because she does the most amazing aubergine parmesan.
Aubergine.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like she eats mostly vegetables anyway, but although she's not actually a vegetarian, but she loves it, and it was just like I had some the other day and it was fantastic, and I want to learn how to make it myself.
I wish I had been there, or I wish I were there. Just let me know when she does it next time.
Oh, absolutely.
Very mouth-watering indeed. Now I've got the fabulous Carol and Tom Bowles, my good friends, whom I've known since 2001. So what is it the best that you like about Eastbourne?
Well, for me, we came here in 1971 from Brighton, and when we first moved here, we thought it was a town for old people. And slowly the town has become younger and younger.
With your arrival.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of things to do for the young people in the town, around the town, other places that you can visit. So yes, it is it's a town that's growing.
And the shopping centre now, it's always been really good, but now they've developed it and made it they've built it up for the younger generation, and even we like it. It's really good now. Yeah.
Also,
lovely place to be.
Also you can get from Eastbourne to anywhere in the country.
Yes.
By bus to Brighton along the coast and see the English Channel, the cliffs, or by train to Brighton, all within 20 minutes, well, 20 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, it's good.
Or London in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
So it's very central for anywhere like that. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like the centre of the world, right?
Yes, you could put it like that.
Central of the south coast.
And we also have a microclimate here because we're on the south coast. We have our own microclimate which gives us a lot of sunshine.
Yes, there's definitely plenty of sunshine now.
Yes,
it does rain here, but
does it?
Yeah. Occasionally. For example, a month ago we had a thunderstorm from France which came across, and we had 1,000 lightning strikes in 1 hour.
And neither of us have ever seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It was really
It was
brilliant.
exceptional.
It was exceptional. Yeah.
But,
It actually hurt your eyes to look at.
But the good things are that you can travel from Eastbourne anywhere in the country.
Yes. I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Come to LTC next summer.